So we are just about to set off and test out our first trip with our new 100 kilowatt battery. So we want to do a little range test. We are going down to the south of the Netherlands for a wedding. We charged to 90%, which says 389 kilometers, or however many miles that is. We want to see if we can get there and back without having to charge. Because everybody always wants to know, how far can a Tesla go? So the trip is 178 kilometers there. It should take about an hour and 56 minutes according to the in-car navigation. We're off. The wedding we're at is actually a supercharger destination. So that's very, very convenient, but we want to see if we can do it anyway. So the reason we want to avoid supercharging as much as possible is because this is what leads to battery degradation, which eventually leads to what happened in our last video, which was the battery takes a very long time to charge. So charging slower, that takes longer, is obviously better for the battery in the long term and therefore, well, better for the environment. We are really going to treat this new battery well. We are going to try and... we've got ludicrous mode back on. We're going to treat the battery well. We are going to try and avoid using the superchargers as much as possible, except on long trips, because then you need them. That's what they're best for. But usually speaking, we will charge at home and charge overnight, and it doesn't really matter if it takes a long time. It charges slowly, but you still have a full car at the beginning of the day. So. Since we're on the subject of range, I thought I'd touch on something that first of all, people are obsessed with what the range is of an electric car, and for good reason, because a lot of them on the market, apart from Teslas, have awful ranges. Some of them have less than 100 kilometers, which is not really good for anything except doing your shopping, really. But you know, the thing about electric cars is that, first of all, they are impacted by how warm it is, which means that in the sunny deserts of California, you'll get a lot more... Truck! You'll get a lot more range out of your car than if you're in Norway. It's another truck! If you're in Norway in winter. And this is seen as like somehow a fault of electric cars, but the same thing happens in a petrol engine. You just don't notice it because there isn't a big indicator saying you're running out of battery, please charge now. You just don't notice it. You've got to go to a petrol station and fill up your car, and it costs an arm and a leg. The range is really also affected by how you how you drive. So this is the same as a petrol. This is the same as a petrol engine. This is the same as a petrol engine. You know, I'm sure when you did driving lessons, at least in the UK, you know, there was a bit on driving eco-friendly. We picked a great time to record this. Someone's having a fun time. But you know, that also applies to electric cars. So if you drive them with smooth acceleration, all this kind of stuff, and good anticipation, you'll get better range. So the question as to how far does a Tesla go on one charge, you can't really answer that. You can fully charge it and then look at the number in the dashboard, but that is not that's not necessarily how many kilometers or miles you're going to go. 74 kilometers left, which means that we could pretty much just make it back home without charging. But we are going to put it on the slow charger here. There is a slower charge, which is not a Tesla supercharger. So we're going to do that so we give it a little bit more, but we don't overload the battery with the supercharger.
Isn't this nice?
So over the last 2 days or day and a half, we've been charging. We charged a little bit on the slow charger, much to the consternation of the staff here, who were sort of like, but you have to pay and it takes so long. But the reason that we did that is to protect the battery and give us better range in the long term. So we are just about to leave and head home. We have got 359 kilometers in the battery. So we probably could have just made it if we stuck to a slightly lower speed limit on the motorway. Like if we don't do 130 on the motorways, we could have made it there and back. But we also had to go to the venue where the ceremony was, so there was a little bit of driving and like going to Albert Heijn and things like that. So here's your water. So it was a kind of a stretch, this journey, but we have made it from one end of the Netherlands to the other on the battery. So we're going to go home now, and we should have plenty left when we get there. Right, we are back home, and I just want to explain a little bit about why I made this video and why I'm making this series. How far does it go on a single charge is the number one question that me and my husband get asked by friends, family, and random people on the street. People are really curious. Now with the new battery, the short answer is 400 kilometers or 250 miles. But it depends on so many factors that people don't appreciate go into the efficiency of an EV battery. Driving electric requires a different mindset when you're going on longer journeys. You have to plan your trip around your charging stops to some extent. But there's a difference between a shift in mindset and actually being inconvenienced. You know what really is inconvenient? A climate crisis that threatens to destroy our planet and make climate refugees of us all. When several countries have declared a climate emergency and certain governments are still supporting the interest of the fossil fuel industry, it's time to stop putting our own convenience ahead of that. Electric cars are the future, and I hope that I can begin to show that with this series. Peace out.